The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. Well, welcome everybody. It's Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-hosts, Otis Wiley and Jehuu Caulcrick in the house. And this is Sparta. Welcome to the show. Know there's going to be a lot of people in the chat today, so we're going to be watching that, answering any questions that are out there for any of you. Thank you guys for watching us live. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to YouTube. That's where all the action and the magic happens with the live shows. Just click that live feed and you'll find us right here where we are today. And follow us on our social media platforms, and this is exactly how to do that. Thanks for tuning in to This is Sparta MSU. Interested in hearing more from us? Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. Click on the link in the bio to head to our link tree for more information. Help us grow our following by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Tell your friends and family to do the same. Have an idea for a future episode? Let us know in the comments section below. And now, back to the show. Well, guys, how you guys doing today, man? Talk to me.
Taco Tuesday.
All good, Stray. All good, man. Just blessed to be here, alive, breathing well. We got a lot of stuff cooking today, man. I'm excited for what we got going on today. And I feel like we ain't had a show in a while, but I feel like we've done so many. We start missing. Start missing each other. Jehu's traveling. He's getting his stuff on with the.
Yeah, Jehu's on the road.
Yeah, he's on the road. On the road again. Yeah, that's what Jehu's doing.
Man. I'm in beautiful sunny California, Mr. Strayhorn's homeland here. Seen it. I got to the airport. I got there. A black SUV, all blacked out, pulled up, picked me up. Stray was driving that thing. Took me to lunch. Last night we had an opportunity to go get some food and some drinks and hang out with some old former Dogs, Flozell, Stephen Reeves. Stray and I, we caught up to them. It was a good time, man. Good time. Stray showing love out here in the West Coast.
Hey, look, Stray like West Coast to best coast, man. He tried to get the sales pitch to get you to move over there.
I mean, he just drove me through the nice parts and be like, look at this.
The nice parts.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Drove this nice one.
It's so clean over there, man. It's just so clean and
it is. Eating cauliflower, eating seaweed.
Oh, you have some cauliflower? You hate that. You hate cauliflower.
No. He's eating seaweed. What I did do, we went to lunch and Sway had a nice Canadian dish, poutine.
He found a Canadian dish.
He found a Canadian dish.
Yeah,
okay.
What's that? French fries with gravy.
And there was some. This one had pork belly on there. It was rushing that thing.
And Choo did his thing too.
I know he did. Yeah, as he does all the time. Yeah, I know he did.
Man, look, guys, we got a very packed show, but the center of attention goes to number 21. All right, and that's Otis Wiley. But Otis Wiley had to pass the torch over a little bit because it's another 21 in town.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We should have had our main man, Dillon Tatum, and Mr. Tatum, his dad. He loves singing that. He loves singing that song, man.
And we're talking about Dillon Tatum. Dillon Tatum joins the show with us right now, young Spartan Dawg. Welcome to This is Sparta, Dillon. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to see you guys. Great to be here.
Great to have you here, man. I mean, look at that.
That's setup. I'm looking at that setup. Yeah, where you at, man? Where's your gigs at? Don't tell your address.
At University Village. University Village.
Got you. Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. 21, man. It's good to obviously bring you on. I know we've always been seeing each other at all the sporting events. You do a lot of support that I think Spartan fans need to understand that you support a lot of our other sports and a lot of other student athletes, man. And how many do you actually go to right now? Like every sporting event? I feel like I see you every time at all the games.
Oh yeah, I'm at all the home games of basketball. I've been to all the home meets of gymnastics. I went to the girls' basketball game the other day. So I'm trying to get around, meet new people and support everybody else, so they can support us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's great, man. Let's jump into this thing. You're on the field, you're balling out, and it had to start somewhere. When did you develop the love and passion for the game of football?
I've been playing football since I was about 6 years old. My dad was a football player down in Inkster, Michigan, Wayne Memorial High School. So it kind of took off from there. And my uncle played down there. Yeah, some players. My uncle played in the league, played for the Raiders, and went to Northern Iowa with my mother. And my mom was a track star, so sports has always been in my life. Growing up, I played running back my whole life. That was my comfortable position. I said I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna challenge myself and try to be different and get on the field fast. Play some defensive back.
So what you're saying, it was easier to play defense than offense.
Here we go. Look, Jehu's claim to fame is that back in the day they would always convert the offensive players to cornerback. And was that always in the plan, Dillon, when you was being recruited, or were you considered an athlete, ATH, and just know like you have the skill set to go both ways?
So being recruited, yeah, I was considered an athlete. They basically told me like when you get on campus, you got to choose at some point, or at least before you get here. And I said I figured I'll go with the defensive back position. You need 5 DBs to play the game of football nowadays. So when you get that, it's easier to get on the field like offensive side of the ball, you get beat up a lot, especially at the running back position. And then longevity wise, it doesn't really help out,
Jay, you talk about that in detail.
I'm about to say Jehus's experience was it was quite different, but it's funny still when he talks about it.
Yeah, man. So so then you had the opportunity, you balled out in high school, a stud out there, come from a background, of athletic family background and everything like that. So what was the draw to Michigan State, and how much input did your family have in the decision to come into East Lansing?
So Middle Thrill Coleman was my youth football coach, and that kind of started a little bit, but I've always been a Michigan State fan. Just the culture here is just completely different than anywhere else. It's like family oriented, they bring you in, you're part of a family, and that's for the rest of your life. It's Spartan Dawgs for life, and really just I felt the fit like immediately. Like, as soon as I got here, just the fit, like I can get with these guys, we can work hard together and we can win some games.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously had an experience of we go back to last game of the season, and you and I had this chat about, playing. I mean, you started, right? Penn State at cornerback, and to go in there and kind of fill in for Chuck Brantley, take us through the mental mindset of when you knew you were going to be starting, and just talk about kind of the preparation of going out there and playing against Penn State in Happy Valley. I mean, that's a big game, big arena, big scene, big platform to really get that first start just talk about it, man. Give us some details of like what you were going through mentally and how you prepared yourself to truly have a great game from a standpoint of being out for the first time.
Really, like I say my first thought was really Wisconsin, being part of that nickel package and as a safety, and just like the entire season, I was just playing like every defensive back position, just learning everything. And the hardest one to learn was definitely corner, just because you're on the island so much. It's completely different. And going in that Penn State week, I just knew I just needed like make sure I had the confidence to go out there and just be me. As a young guy, it's okay to mess up, but like as long as you're working hard and you make it up on the next play, I mean, what can I say? Just go out there and be yourself. That's what I was trying to do.
When did the nerves settle? Because I have the same experience of, I did start at Nickelback and it was at Notre Dame, and that's where we had the overtime win, and I got a sack on Brady Quinn. I'm like, you couldn't tell me nothing when I got a sack on Brady Quinn. I was like, I'm here, I've arrived. Like I acted a fool when I got it too, man. But like, when did it fully settle? Like, because nerves happen, man. You go out there, you're in a freaking, this is a big game. It's one we had to win to get to a bowl game, so there's a lot of more pressure. But like, when did the dust settle? When you like, once the pads start to hit, you start getting accustomed to it. You're good.
Oh yeah, definitely when a receiver tried to block me, and I basically just hit him up like the line. I'm like, this is not the type of game we're gonna play. Like, you're not stronger than me. I know I'm a young guy, but that's not how it's gonna be. So as soon as I got that out the way, and then I led into making the 3 tackles of the game, and then, just being where I need to be and making a difference, So that just calmed it down immediately.
Dillon, like I sometimes I like food sometimes, and I was in a place where they serve food. It was a barbecue place, Mission Barbecue. I was by myself, wearing my Spartan hat, and gentleman walks in and says, "Go green," and turn around, he's wearing his Spartan hat. I say, "Go white," and turns out to be none other than Dillon Tatum, your father, hanging out, Mission Barbecue, on a little food run himself in the middle of the afternoon. And, I hear about his legendary grill that goes on with the parent tailgating. Now, bring us into that a little bit. Is that something that he's been doing before Michigan State? Is this going back to Little League, or is this something brand new for Michigan State?
It's definitely brand new for Michigan State, but it's been going on for a minute now. So that grill is a complete huge trailer, right? It belongs to my cousin, and my cousin, now my cousin, my dad share. They call each other brothers, so like they share. He'll bring it up here, and we'll have the whole thing just shut down, like the whole space, and it's over, man. You got the tents, you got the heater, the TV for people that can't come in the games. It's completely fun. They did the same thing at our state championship game in high school. We did it, homecoming games in high school, all that. And in Little League, it was always like, my dad was like, man, I never want to go somewhere and I don't have something that I should have. So we got this big old van that my dad had forever, as old as me, but it works great. It looks good, and he packs it to the fullest, and you can't even see out the back. But when you go out of town for a track meet or any type of football game, you got everything you need to have. And the music and the dance, that's what little sister said. Yeah, got the speaker and everything. It's over. You shut it down.
Yeah. See, what is it with the 21s?
Think about that. Yeah, both. That's what
I know. I was gonna say, man.
21s have fathers who are like integral in the tailgate because Otis, his father is in there too. So we got to have an Otis Barron cook-off. We got to get everybody together.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you know what? We might as well just start a little restaurant and club. 21.
Oh,
21.
21 all day.
21.
Baby. Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Right. Deion might show up. Who knows?
Oh yeah. Man, talk about Dillon. Like, we talked about how we selected our numbers, or the numbers were selected for us when we got to campus. I see that you was wearing number 5 in high school, and when you got here, how was that? How did that 21 come to you? Because I didn't know. I was wearing number 20, in high school. And so I didn't know what I was going to get. I wasn't like Choo where Choo was like, I demand a number. Like, that's when you know you a diva, right? Like, oh, I'm an offensive player. I demand this number. Kicker's not welcome. So yeah. Tell us about like how it came to be, and then how you adapted it and made it your own, because there's a lot of history with each number and how you pass it down, and talk about that.
So 21 was just given to me, and it was definitely the best defensive back number that was left after after everybody else had their numbers. I always wanted 5. I said, I like that 5. I like that 5. I had a chance to change it after the season, and we came to the conclusion that, man, I got family members, my parents, I got cousins, everybody bought the 21 number. Let's just keep it. It looks good. It's not bad. Where my heart is at 5, but it's okay. I like 21. Drake got the song, It's
hey,
cool.
you was right on time too, man.
Right.
That was right on time.
So Dillon, tell us about this. This season obviously was a frustrating season, especially defensively, because there was a lot of injuries, and some would say the defense couldn't do what they wanted to do. Talk us through that frustration of the season and how you guys stuck together as a band of brothers.
Definitely, as the season went on, we definitely got closer. And I'll keep it completely real. Like, we had some guys that transferred here and thought they could just come and play football and go straight to the league, but not build no decorum or no relationship with the other guys, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So as the season went on, and you had all those issues, school down, all that issues, things got closer, because we were like, okay, if we won a bowl game, we gotta like each other. It don't work like this, where you got haters and selfish guys all over the place. So it was definitely tough. It definitely helped the guys grow as we go into this season, because it's a brand new season. We're 0-0, everybody's undefeated. But guys wanted way more. And all I can think about is 29-7. That's all I can think about. All I can think about. I don't like that at all. So yeah.
You got blood brothers that you paid blood, sweat, and tears playing on the opposite side, but hey, all that's thrown out the window, right? He's like, all that's in the past, man. In the past.
Are you talking about other high school teammates that played for the school down the road? Is what you're referring to, right?
Absolutely.
So talk about that. Your relationship with your ex-teammates that are wearing the other colors right now from the real colors. They were green and white. They were doing the right thing at West Bloomfield, but then they go on to Ann Arbor, and you are in East Lansing. How's your relationship with those couple players?
Oh, we're still friends, but at the end of the day, when that week comes or any type of debate comes, they know where I stand. Me and Don, we talk once a week, really, and it's just like, how you doing? How you adjusting? Any question like that, he make sure I'm straight. I make sure he's straight. The other 7 on the other side of the ball, he's doing well. We don't talk as much as me and Donovan do, but Makari, man, he's a good guy. He was a leader at West Bloomfield, so look up to guys like that. But when he put that jersey on across the other side of the ball, or the sideline, all that go out the window. I tell Donovan every time we on the phone, I'm like, man, I just can't wait to hit you, man. Can't wait, man. Can't wait.
That's great. We had someone in here talk about, the fact that you're a sharp dresser. So let's talk about that. What's the preparation going into your game day fit?
Oh, so I'm the only guy, from what I heard, that wore a different suit every Spartan walk.
Ooh, that. It's like that.
Swagalicious. Okay.
Ooh, look at it.
Yep.
Ooh, he had the shades on too.
I take pride in that,
like that, man.
It's another. It's a green.
Like that? Is that mom or dad? Who put you on that?
Definitely my parents. Going to church all the time. You're not wearing jeans. You're not wearing no polo shirt. You wearing a nice shirt with some slacks and some nice shoes. Not no gym shoes, nothing like that. And your slacks better go to your ankle. Your ankles ain't showing. So pretty traditional, but I like it. I think it's cool. especially when I get my my suit fitted, you know, and tailored. It looks sweet. I like it.
That European
Now,
cut.
right,
I'm
right.
big with that.
Now, like it's important now. Like we all have seen the news, and you obviously got when you look good, you smell good, you play good with a little Coach Prime. I stole that from Jehuu because I know he's about to say that. And it led to an NIL deal with Ovation. I see the hat, and then we got one of the creators and founders to join the show in Sean Crenshaw. You know, let's talk about obviously how the brand came about, but also how this marriage or how you were sought after to create your own fragrance line. And I mean, I haven't seen that happen besides, you know, what was the mustard with the running back, spicy mustard for Texas running back. But like from this standpoint of fragrance, like this is something that's unprecedented. Somebody who hasn't had this is the first that I've seen it. Talk about Ovation, and then obviously welcome to the show, Sean Crenshaw, who is obviously the one who has created this. But welcome to the Spartan Dawg podcast right here. This is Sparta.
Hey, no, thank you, gentlemen. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, thank you, gentlemen. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Man, this is a great platform, man. Thank you for inviting me. And as you all already picked up, you know, Dillon, his style and his swag, man, made him an ideal candidate for us when we talked about identifying players for NIL. You know, the fragrance itself is all about celebrating the style, the creativity, the showmanship, and accomplishments of African-American men. You know, my dad was a big fragrance consumer, my uncles, you know, my cousins, and the reason why I created the brand, because there was a void in the market of major brands celebrating or actually just featuring the imagery of African-American men in their marketing, their branding, their communications. There was a void in the market. And I knew that there was an opportunity because I was a fragrance consumer, and people that looked like me were big fragrance consumers, my dad, my uncle, my cousins. And I knew there was an opportunity to create a brand that really spoke to us in an authentic and genuine way. And so that was the impetus of the idea. And during the time when I thought of the idea, I mean, you know, Black men were being attacked. You know, there were targets on our back. We were having the Ferguson situation and all the other, you know, things going on across America. And I knew that this was an opportunity to create a brand that spoke to my passion for fragrance, but also spoke to my passion about uplifting my fellow African-American men of color. And this was a perfect fit. And Dillon, again, was just, he you know, I did my research and diligence. I recognized that Dillon had been to an NIL conference down in Atlanta. So he was already at the forefront of understanding personal brand and brand imagery. And I couldn't do anything but reach out. So that's what's brought us here. And I'm happy to form this partnership and support his personal brand development as a MSU Spartan.
Nice. We got a lot of people, you know, in the
chat. They already want it. They want it right now.
You know, when and where can people get their hands on this new fragrance?
Yeah. So it's so the brand itself has been in existence since 2015. It's been a grassroots effort, but just this past holiday season, we sold out. And we decided to, you know, we've been planning a second fragrance. And so this year, 2023, instead of, you know, restocking with our old fragrance, we said, hey, we're just going to be out of stock for a minute. We're going to relaunch with an additional fragrance, Ovation for Men Sport. We sell it directly to the consumer online via our website at ovationfragrance.com. We will be relaunching around the 1st to mid of May. So our Ovation for Men Sport is going to be our premier line that we're going to feature. You'll see Dillon in some advertisements. And so the 1st to mid-May, we'll be sending out some announcements, but definitely, you know, save that website, ovationfragrance.com. Our tagline is every man deserves an ovation. So we want to do everything we can to, again, highlight all the positive things, positive messages, and positive imagery that's going on in our community. And again, Dillon's going to be leading that charge. And so we're just proud to have this opportunity to work with Dillon and the Spartan team. You know, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to define what a Spartan man looks like. I know, and brothers, y'all already got it down, but we're gonna crystallize it and give it that smell good. So that's the whole vision. That's the vision.
That's awesome, man. Look, let's talk about etiquette, because people don't know. Like when you spray the smell good on you, tell us where you need to put it at, and because people like spray it all over, or they put it in their wrist or on their neck. Like, tell us how men are supposed to put the fragrance on to make sure they smell good for the entirety of the day.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm glad you asked that question, man, because I've had to go through an education with this. So here's the deal. Here's the first no you don't do. When you spray it on, you do not rub it on your wrist. Do not rub your wrists together. That is a no-no. You are killing the molecules of the fragrance. You know, the whole purpose of a fragrance is to let the molecules, have access to the open air so that they can do what they do. You know, but when you rub your wrists together, you crush the molecules and it kind of mutes the fragrance. So you don't want to do that. What you better do is spray the fragrance on your pulse points. That's on the side of your neck. That's in your chest. That's on your wrist. And then some people like to get fancy. Sometimes people, I have a bald head, so I'll sometimes spray it on the top of my head, just so I have a fresh little, fresh little sea eyes as I swing my head, walk past. But and you can spray it on your clothes, it's fine. But normally about 5 or 6 sprays. Don't overspray it. There's a real popular meme going on right now where brother, he just dousing himself, in fragrance. You do not want to do that. Do not want to do that. 5 or 6 nice little pumps, boom, boom, boom. And let the fragrance sit in and let you do your thing. What we say about fragrances, fragrance introduces you before you even speak a word. And so, find that fragrance that really fits your style. There's a multitude of fragrances, different categories. There's floral, there's citrus, there's spice. There's a lot of different categories, but I recommend for people to really take the time to understand the etiquette of fragrance, because what it is, it's an art, and it's a part of your swag, and like I said, it speaks for you before you even speak. So we love it, man. We love it. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Oh, that's a lesson right there.
Hey, look, that's a mic drop. Hey.
Yeah.
So Dillon, we're talking to Sean. Sean explained, the background behind, the line and everything like that. What was it that attracted you? What drew you to that and said, man, this is a good match, for Dillon?
I definitely took in part that is Black owned. Sean, he hasn't said it yet, but he's actually a family friend of my dad's from back in middle school. They used to play ball together, and that just even brought it even more. It brought us closer, and my dad was just like, man, you really gotta do this. And once I met Sean over the phone and just talked to him, I'm like, man, this is a great guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants, and he's got something that we can build together and build big. And I really like that. And definitely my mom was just like, man, you doing something real nice. I like this. So, what Sean did, he came to my crib back in Farmington Hills, and he had brought both the fragrances because we haven't chose like which one yet. And we were trying to decide. He let me take part of choosing, which one is like the best smelling one. And I'm like, man, I like them both. So and that's how he's doing something great over there. And like when we work together, I feel like we can take this through the roof.
Absolutely. Spartans will.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
Indeed.
Well, I think we'll be able to Stray, like when it happens and when it drops, it's like, I know our followers, but our fans, we get, look, I'm out here. Listen, hey, I'm trying to speak before I don't even enter that room. They were like, "Who's coming? Who's coming through?"
Gotta love a good fragrance, man. I mean, that's outstanding. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, I know it's something that was kind of, the relationship was kind of there because of the relationship with the father, but you couldn't have picked a better young man. I mean, this is a guy. It doesn't at all speak to me as a freshman, the way that he carries himself, the way that he's always out and about. I don't think I've ever been to all the games that you've been to, and I've been around for a long time. And you are going to these games, you're out and about in the community, and every time we see you, you're just like really a breath of fresh air. As a freshman, that you don't really think of freshmen coming in and having a leadership role, but what was it about you? And I can see that this right here, what you're doing with the Ovation company and how you carry your own brand. Like, what has made you do that? What has set you off on that pace to be a difference maker, in my opinion, to the rest of the guys in your class, so to speak?
Really, the biggest thing, I really want to make my parents proud, and that's what I'm doing a lot of this stuff for, just to make them put a smile on their face. I feel like that just hits me in the heart. That's what I want for my grandmother, my late grandmother. Woo, I loved her, man. I loved her, but she was always just like, she would give me interview lessons, make sure I know how to talk, make sure I dress properly, make sure I'm going to formals as a 12, 11-year-old, knowing what to wear, how to eat dinner and cross your fork and knife at the end when you're done with your food. And she was a doctor, PhD, all that. I mean, she set the example right there and just made sure like that I'm like good before she had left us, So
Man. Listen, man, I think
you got mama crying right now.
Yeah, man, that's one of those things that,
some of the hosts,
I gotta say, Sean, you picked a good one, man. You picked a great ambassador for the brand, and we appreciate you stepping into the Spartan world and giving that platform to one of our guys.
Hey, my pleasure, Jay, man. I appreciate it. And Otis, man, again, thank you for having me here and Stray. We appreciate it, man. I mean, we this is just one of these things where I think, this is another example of when, we come together and support each other and celebrate each other and offer our platforms to push, again, that Spartan man to the next level. And so I'm just proud to be a part of this, man, and there'll be more to come. So I appreciate it, and thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, man. We thank you, Dillon, man. We appreciate it. Obviously, you got my number, obviously, and obviously 21. Like, we lock for life. Yeah, we lock for life, man. So anything you need, man. I still got my back pedal, smooth operator, man. So you need some tricks in the trade. I had the best hands on the team, and better than Jehuu as well. So
Stop playing.
Hey, you never see you're at South Spite. You never see Jay back screen, man. You know what I'm saying?
If you want, okay, so let me tell you, since Otis brought this out there, if you go, the greatest comeback in college football history was set by Michigan State against Northwestern, and to start that off was a 30-yard touchdown reception from me.
This is true.
On a scramble drill.
That's
so
facts.
Relax.
I'm not gonna lie. When it was in the air, I was like, please catch that.
You and me both. To the game tonight? You going to the hoops game, the Maryland game?
Dillon, yeah,
yes.
Going to the game tonight.
Okay. All right, man. We'll let you go. I know that you're gonna go. This is his Dillon's social media handles right here at the Governor _1K for Twitter and at Dillon Tatum for Instagram.
Show them love, Spartan Nation. Show them love. Show them love. Add the likes and follow and get that man growing up, because once he got the Ovation coming in, he's about to be slinging and willing and Dillon. So hey, you might as well put right.
It's the field house. Put that thing on.
Absolutely. Well, thank y'all, man. Thanks.
We're excited about the future.
Appreciate
you guys.
All right, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having us.
Thank you all. And appreciate it.
Definitely.
Okay.
No green. Definitely.
Peace.
Hey, I wanted Dillon to stay on. I could have talked to him for another,
Oh, man.
hour. Yeah, but
we do.
Something that he said, and I want to ask you guys this because I think I've alluded to this in the past and everything. I don't know if it was on here or talking to people, and something that he said really struck me by. We had guys that transferred in and thought they were going to be one and done, play 1 year and go to the league. What do you guys, is that like a knock on the transfer portal? Is that something that, coaches now we talked about that rebuilding of the culture and everything if you go too heavy in the transfer portal. And we just had an example, a guy that's in the locker room this year, saying that. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I think you mentioned that earlier in one of our podcasts about you can't build a culture off of transfer portals, like transfer guys coming in. Now, there's a few that you pick and you put in, but it's almost you have to vet them that are they fit for our culture. And you also have to weed through, the first 4 stages of, showing me or trying to basically interview me, because I'm going to tell you whatever you need to do.
Right.
You need to hear to get me on campus, but you never know what happens when you go out there when the coaches aren't there and they're embedded with the other guys. And so, I think what's strategic is you line up with, you put them on their recruiting trip, you put them with guys that those guys are able to report back to you and state, hey, coach, I don't think that's the guy, man. Like he got talent. I think he can make a huge impact, but from a culture standpoint, I think he's a me guy. He's not a we guy. And so I think to your point, Jay, when you said earlier, and then Dillon mentioned it, you saw that chemistry out there that was lacking when we were playing last season. And so, I think we are obviously learned the lesson moving into off season that they got to truly build that culture and that team bonding. So that nothing that happens this season from adversity is going to really break the chain. And I think that's what they're doing right now is building that strong bond and getting ready for the gridiron for the fall season.
Yeah, I think that's a smart thing. What you just suggested, that they talk to the players and get some feedback as to what kind of guy this is and get beyond the X's and O's a little bit when you're talking about a culture. I think Michigan State has some work to do with that when you're talking about bringing in new guys. So when you hit a grand slam like you did 2 years ago with Kenneth Walker III, I think that you can start kind of rely on swinging for the fences a lot. And, obviously you see it here. You heard it from a player on the team, a contributor, a young one, that, that's what the feeling was on one side of the ball. So, I think that's something that you got to be honest with yourselves about and do some self-scouting and reflecting and fix it. They have the resources to fix it. So I believe that they will. I mean, people are watching us, guys, from Clinton Township down in Florida. We got Berkeley, Michigan. We got Belleville in the house. Saying, what's up, Peggy? Harperwood, Detroit,
Flinttown, stand up, baby. Flinttown, stand up. Stand up.
I don't see Canada. We're working on that.
When we looked at the thing, we had people from Africa that watched the show. So
there we go.
Yeah.
They need to gotta be in the chat. We'll get them in there on the chat.
Time difference. They have to watch the replay.
Oh, they gotta watch the recap. I got to
watch the recap. Time difference.
Yeah, that's right. We'll give them a pass for that one. We're going to talk about some more stuff, NIL related and Senior Bowl stuff after this message from our friends over at IHOP.
At IHOP, the $6 Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity combo is back. 2 eggs, 2 bacon strips, and 2 fruit-topped pancakes. Only from IHOP. Download the app and earn free food with every order. Dine in only. Limited time at participating locations. Prices may vary.
When you join IHOP's new rewards program, the International Bank of Pancakes, and start stacking pan coins toward free food, you get a smile on your plate. Download the app and join the rewards program today.
All right, gentlemen. Well, we just talked to one of our own players about an NIL deal that was struck with Ovation Fragrance. And that, you talk about the national landscape of this. Like, you got to be following NIL because it's an ever-evolving thing. And we see on the national scale, this is Jaden Rashada, a quarterback that people have been following who were committed to Miami, decommitted, goes to Florida for more money. And then Florida completely reneged on almost $14 million. He ends up signing guys with Arizona State with no NIL deal.
Man, I wish we played that Saban interview. More so show that quote is that you got to show thyself approved before you see that value. Like, I consider it being like you get into the league, you get a signing bonus, and you got bust. People that don't produce, but, they got that big money and that contract, which obviously, yeah, young man, get that bread, right? But to the point of you haven't shown that you can even throw the ball at this level or even like understand a playbook and you getting that size money. And so, I think it's just setting the precedent. I think stuff is kind of scaling back because it's how about
Here's the article.
Yeah, here's the article where, you got guys asking for, family members and girlfriends to get in school because of, coming to your school. And, kudos to Nick, to King Saban, that he's like, look, this is not the place for you. Like, you're not going to get this from jump. Like, you got to earn your keep. And Bryce Young is a prime example who came in, obviously got some money early in the season, but he showed results. And he obviously is now the Dr. Pepper brand ambassador. So it's one of those things where you got to put product on the field. Winning brings the brands. Go ahead, Jehuu.
I understand what you're saying, Otis. I understand it's that winning brings the brand, all that stuff. I understand that. I'm with you on that. But the true thing in this situation is, all right, at the end of the day, we can sit here, we can bitch, we can moan, we can gripe, we can do whatever we want to do. The NIL's in place. All right. The issue that I have here, is the fact that whoever was counseling that young man, whoever was the support system to, help him achieve, even pick the right school for him, failed him. They failed that young man because they were greedy. And that's the issue that's at hand here. It's not, we can't fault the NIL system that's in place right now. I get what you're saying, Otis, but we have to take a step back and say, whoever, if it's a parent, if it's a hired legal representation for that guy, failed that kid because he had something already lined up at Miami for $9 million. And then, they say, oh, we'll give you 13 over. Boom, you're done and you're leaving. And you end up with nothing. The kid should be sick to his stomach. His family should be embarrassed about it. And now he's on his third school. Arizona State was not his first choice, So that's the thing when you talk about it, Otis, as well, is pick the school that you want to go to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Don't chase the dollar. But if the dollar's there and you have the opportunity to go somewhere where, what the hell? This kid hasn't played a down, and he had $9-point-something million sitting there for him. And greed came in because his counsel, everyone that was there helping him, decided they wanted to be greedy, and they thought for themselves instead of the best interest of this kid. And now he's stuck out there with nothing.
Now, mentor, and we all know Sean Hart. Stray, Sean,
yeah,
one of my mentors. He truly helped me understand the value of don't chase the bag, chase the assignment. And these young kids, man, like, I do feel for him because clearly that's a life-changing investment to go there and play. And now you're with nothing. But I feel like it's humbled him to now you got to go out there and get it now. You got to go out there and truly develop and then obviously put some product on the field. And he's, I guess, QB1 in Arizona State to the point of now. Yeah, he looked, she was like shaking his head. No, he ain't
gone. The kid's mentally checked out. He's gone.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
He's hurt. He's mentally, he's gone.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. I mean, you talk about, the psychological ramifications of having thought that you had that type of money and then now to have zero. That's a big swing, guys. That's the part about it that I think people need to really wrap their arms around the young man and the family and guide them through this because it's got to be tough right now. It's lonely. He's like, people are poking fun at him. I read a story where he was at the Elite 11 camp with quarterbacks, and when he had the original deal, all the talk in that Elite 11 camp was about his deal and how much money and how does it work, to the point where the kid couldn't even complete a pass. He was thinking about that, and he couldn't think about what he was doing. He couldn't be where his feet are at. We talk about that a lot, right? When you be the best player, the best person that you could be, you need to be present where you are. And that's what happens when numbers like this get thrown around financially. I'm not killing the game of NIL itself, but obviously for this young man, it did not turn out the way that you would hope. And hopefully something comes for him in a year or so from now when he starts to prove himself on the field. Speaking of other NIL deals, the Popeyes kid, remember him?
Yeah.
He's got a Super Bowl deal going on.
You might know me. I used to be that mean kid. And now I'm in Popeye's big game ad. It's got all those things those ads have, like a nice ride. Electric, of course. It's got puppies. And it's even got my own celebrity meal offer, the eyes on the fries or pies offer. I get your eyes on them fries or pies. I get to keep wanting puppies, right?
Man,
That's sweet. It was all a dream.
Right.
I was getting Biggie vibes there. Biggie vibes.
I got those puppies.
Talk about a come up. A come
Man, oh my God.
Outstanding.
I use that meme all the time too, though. Like, it just full circle, man. Using the laugh and joke for some investment and money, man. That's legit. That's kudos to Popeyes, man, because that's strategic, dog. Now I'm glad they got rid of a old girl who was like talking about my recipe. Like, you ain't back there cooking that recipe. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Damn, you mad at the Louisiana chicken lady? I know.
Well, man,
recipe, but
Otis mad at everybody right now.
Right. Yeah. What does Louisiana chicken lady do to you?
I'm just glad she gone. She gone, man. But that's legit. That is legit. So that commercial will be on Super Bowl Sunday playing.
Yeah.
Man, I saw an article that the average spend for an advertisement media $7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Per minute?
We talking like 30-second, boys.
30 seconds, boy.
Crazy.
30 seconds, $7 million.
$7 million, man.
Yeah.
Woo.
These networks aren't making a lot of money. They are. Speaking of networks, the Senior Bowl was on a couple of days ago, guys, and we had a couple of players down there in Mobile, Alabama. Jaden Reed and Bryce Behringer. Look at Jaden, man. There you go. Break down that route there, Otis.
I'm not going. I was like, I'm about to put my Snoop Dogg on there. Everybody chasing this man. Like, if I'm a DB, I know what he's capable of. I'm 10 years off. I'm 10 yards off. Like, why? It's not real, dog. Look, and then the ball control, man. Like, that stock has as the all-time high, man, off of this 1 week. And I think that's where we talked about showing up. When you show up, you got to show up, but you also got to show out. And Jaden Reed has proven time and time that he is that guy. And, like, I don't think there was one guy that locked him down at one bit. Like, now, yeah, like that was one right there.
But he still caught it.
He still caught it, though, man.
Yeah, that too.
But, yeah, that's one of the things, man, that it shows who we have on our side of the ball and our wide receivers coach.
Courtney Hawkins, former Spartan Dawg, always a Spartan Dawg. But, yeah, they took a touchdown away from Jaden, by the way, in this game. I don't know if we have that on tape, but it was they called offensive pass interference for a rub route. Some people might call it a pick, but it was the wrong call. The guy actually came on the network broadcast and said that I don't like that call. So
now this is where we want to, like, listen, we all about being physical, right? But, like, we all got to be healthy to get this paper. And that tackle is like, bruh, you already beat. I'm a DB. Yeah, you already beat. But that extra roughness is like, bruh, just push him out on the sideline, dog. Like, don't injure that man, because you injure that man, you're injuring his paper, man. So, but he showed up.
He certainly did. Made a lot of money. Was voted the Player of the Week for the team, the national team's Player of the Week, voted by the players. And
hey, you go back to that, it said voted by the DBs. Of course, he torched each one.
Voted by the DBs.
Unanimous. The national DB group.
Like, he's unguardable.
Oh, man.
And Bryce was killing it too, punting the ball. He was voted National Player of the Week again. So Michigan Spartans showed up with two players, and both of them walked away with Player of the Week honors in their respective sides of the ball. So offensively and obviously as a punter. Said he was crushing them, like 74-yard punts left and right, man.
I'm waiting on Choo-Choo. I'm waiting on Choo-Choo because the previous podcast, you was very hot on being snit for the Ray Guy award. and listen, look at this man, what he does. Go ahead, Jehuu.
Exactly. That's what it goes to show, that sometimes the media talks out of both sides of their mouth, and the guy just goes out and performs on the field. But what I was going to say this is, in the draft, I think this draft is going to be two specialists that are drafted this year, and both those specialists are going to come from the state of Michigan. One's going to come, the kicker from Moody, from the school down the road. He's going to be drafted, and Bryce is also going to be drafted in this draft. Two specialists will be drafted this week, and it'll be both of those guys.
East-West Shrine game, another game that has, pro potentials out there showing their stuff. Ben VanSumeren, look at that. 7 tackles, a sack, tackle for loss.
Yeah, Ben's a stud. This guy, he wasn't a player that's a sexy player that's going to wow you with flashes and everything like that. He's one of those gritty players. He's those guys like Luke Kuechly, kind of guys that's just always going to be there. He's going to be assignment, technique, and, assignment. He's going to be that guy that's going to continuously be there. And within the blink of an eye, you'll look back and you'll be like, oh man, VanSumeren's still in the league, 6 years later, because he's just going to do the right thing and continue to just, be that constant every single time.
Who he reminds me of, Stray, is Kenny Willikis.
Oh, yeah, he does.
But more like, we already know Kenny was very athletic. I mean, splits and flips, but I think like there was a more of a factor for him is he can play everything, special teams,
right?
Each special teams, but also go out there and really contribute as, a backer that may not be your top 3, top 4, but he's going to go in there and be like a solid backup where one goes down, he will go in there and remain. And so I still think about when seeing him running down on the kickoff, and this was in practice, and that man was beating our skill players down, and it was like, it was a walkthrough, but he was flying down there. And I was like, man, who is that? And I knew who he was, but I was like, he looked different. And so from a standpoint of that guy has something on his mind, he got money on his mind because obviously he's trying to get drafted. And he showed right there in the East versus West Shrine game.
Oh, man, his sideline pursuit is ungodly. He is extremely fast. He's going to run a great time at the combine. You already know that. And he's got all the physical specifications they look for. 6'3", 230, whatever, that's pro. Also, we had Daniel Barker down at the East-West.
Yeah, it was good that he had opportunity to get out there and display his talents at that level, because when you go to these bowl games, it turns from college to NFL. The scouts are watching everything you do. They're watching how you carry yourself in the facility. They're watching how you eat, how you sit when you're in the cafeteria, who you socialize with. How are you as a person? How are you in the film room? Can you translate what's on the chalkboard on the film to what's being done on the field? Can you do those things? So all these guys have an opportunity to go to these bowl games and play there, and it's just another great opportunity for them to showcase their talents in front of these scouts.
Yes, I mean, you're right. I mean, they watch everything. They want to see if you're taking notes and watching film and everything like that. You talk about the NFLPA Bowl is another bowl game, and you had Speed and Slade there, 2 defensive standouts.
Yeah, and one of the coaching staff there, the guy that coached them on their team there was former MSU great wide receiver Andre Rison was on the coaching staff for that. So, once again, it's a great opportunity. We had 5-6 guys play, in bowl games. That's a great testament to the program and where we're going. So, as Otis would say, kudos to those guys.
Absolutely.
A lot of kudos going around. Talking about Otis.
What?
He was in New York, man. How was that Madison Square Garden experience?
Hey, man, listen. I felt like I was Spike Lee out there, boy. I should have had my glasses and my hat. Like, I mean, I legit showed up, and I looked at my tickets, but I just felt like we were in the baseline section, and then we are here trying to find our seats, and it's like AA. And they're like, oh, you right there up on the court. And I'm like, we on the court? Oh, all right, cool. So then you walk in, you're like,
flowers.
I'm like, we at the basket? Oh, man. And that really made me like feel good because we brought some partners in to kind of house, and then we have some kind of new potential partners. But it's Madison Square Garden. Like, that's one of those bucket lists of, it's like the Rose Bowl for football, and, you know, the granddaddy of them all, and you're in the Madison Square Garden. And even with all the crazy madness, like, we were very outnumbered. Clearly, this was a home game. This was, you know, I get texts from my wife, like, stop shaking your head, because I was pissed, man. I was really pissed because you know we got them on our turf, but then they legit, man. They play some good ball, and, you know, we just didn't come up as we came up short. But it was just the beauty of seeing us there in Madison Square Garden. Those kids getting the opportunity to play there. You know, it was a homecoming for Ty Walker being from New York, and so it was good. It was a good experience. Now, the food scene, I usually don't like New York at all, straight. Shoot. I don't like going to New York. It's too big, too fat, like, just not my scene. But the food, man, like, man, I didn't have a bad meal. And, you know, once I get that good food in me, I was like, oh, I might be able to come back here more often.
New York's great for food. What you talking about? It's the best food you're gonna have.
I said it was. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but you're saying before you preluded your
I did.
I'm not a fan of New York.
I did not.
Yes, I did not. You said I'm not a fan of New York.
I said I did not.
5 minutes to the game. 5 minutes to tip off.
I'm sorry, you Buffalo out here, you know, Bills Mafia. I just didn't have the great experience that I should have coming to New York. You know, just that's it.
You didn't do it right. You didn't do
Why are
it
you getting
right.
offended, Jehuu?
I know, like, you get offended because it's my experience. Like, now it's like, Jesus.
My experience.
You should have a good time there. Doesn't matter. You know, we talked to George Blau, how I've been doing, you know, Pistons games for 100 years, Michigan State football for the same. And people ask him a lot because he travels a lot. Like, what's your favorite city, your favorite NBA city? And his answer, you mean besides New York?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Right,
Otis. And that's a seasoned vet. We're
That's
talking about a guy who ain't been out here maybe a few times in New York. I'm from Michigan. Like, bro, we ain't got all that. Like,
that's why
I'm sorry to grow up in Buffalo and I had the access to all 25,000 restaurants that you could just stop in and get anything. You know, you can get pig feet on the corner. You can get freaking Mexican the next spot.
Did you have a New York bagel though?
No, I have no New York bagel. I did have some Jamaican jerk chicken at Michael B. Jordan's spot, and then I had this. It was Peaches. It was in Bed-Stuy, and in Brooklyn. I was like, bro, this soul food was it was fire. That bread pudding though, like I'm a dessert guy. That bread pudding was like that slap your mama good. So,
figuratively speaking.
Yes.
I'm joking. The remaining schedule for Michigan State basketball is here. We got a Big Ten game tonight, Maryland, just in a few minutes. So we're going to get everybody in front of their TVs or in the stadium. I don't know if that's what you're going to do, Otis. Are you going to go to the game? And then we have at Ohio State Sunday. Look at this. You know, you have Minnesota at home next Wednesday, and then obviously next weekend you go down the road. It's not much left, guys. I mean, they've had a brutal schedule here as of late, and they seem to be in good position to be a tournament team as it stands right now.
Yeah, we kind of left that Madison Square Garden game against Rutgers of, I think both fan bases like we're both going to be in the tournament, but I think we're beating up each other in the conference, and I think it's really we got to win some solid ones like, you know, IU. I think about IU coming in and, you know, with them beating Purdue and us losing Purdue by 1 when they came to Breslin. It's like if we can win a few 2-3 out of the rest of the ones got going on, that's a solid, you know, resume to go into Big Ten conference play. And you know, we just got to win those first 2 days to just get a solid bid and get a great seed. So. I think we're in. Izzo's streak continues. I mean, we're not in jeopardy because we had some big wins early in the season, even with the low roster that people thought we didn't have a strong roster. But our guys are balling, man, and then they're playing great ball, and they're in every game. And then, you know, we haven't really got blown out like that. So it's just a good opportunity to see what we can do tonight against the Terrapins.
All right. Well, hey, look, we only got like 10 seconds before
10
tip-off,
seconds,
guys.
yeah.
We're going to let people get out of here. Michigan State hockey swept Notre Dame. We'll get to that next time. They'll continue to do what they do. Guys, great show, great interview with Dillon Tatum today, obviously. And thanks for everybody showing in the show. For Otis Wiley Jehuu Caulcrick, I'm Jason Strayhorn. This is Sparta. Have a good night. God bless and go green.
Go White.
This is Sparta MSU as a combined presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. The show is produced by Pete Menez with additional support from Tony Costella. Operations and social media support is provided by Alicia Strayhorn with support from Cecily Max Brown. On-location technical support is provided by Good Fruit Video. Be sure to follow our hosts Jason Strayhorn, Jehuu Caulcrick, and Otis Wiley on social media. To stay up to date with all the latest, this is Sparta News. Please like and subscribe by visiting our link tree and tell a friend to do the same. Thank you for your support, and as always, go green.